Welcome back to Inspiration Pilgrims, where we explore powerful stories of faith, resilience, and God's unshakable love. Today, I'm excited to share the incredible life of Elisabeth Elliot, a woman whose deep faith and courage, in the face of unimaginable hardship, left a lasting legacy. Elisabeth Elliot was born on December 21st, 1926, in Brussels, Belgium. She grew up in a Christian home and developed a strong faith in God. She went on to study at Wheaton College in Illinois, where she met the love of her life, Jim Elliot. Jim was a passionate missionary who also felt called to spread the gospel to remote tribes. Together, they moved to Ecuador, where they worked among indigenous people, including the Huarani tribe. In 1956, tragedy struck. While trying to make contact with the Huarani, Jim and four other missionaries, Nate Saint, Ed McCully, Peter Fleming, and Roger Udarian, were speared to death by the tribe. Jim's famous words, "He is no fool who gives what he cannot keep to gain that which he cannot lose," became a powerful testament to his unwavering faith in God. Most people would have left, devastated by the loss. But Elisabeth, in an extraordinary act of faith, chose to stay. She felt God calling her to continue the mission, not only to share the gospel, but also to forgive the very people who had taken her husband's life. And that's exactly what she did. Elisabeth remained in Ecuador, learning the Huarani language. Eventually, she moved into their village. She lived among them, shared the love of Christ, and witnessed many of them, including some of the men who had killed Jim, come to faith in Jesus Christ. Elisabeth's story didn't end in the jungle. After returning to the U.S., she became a renowned author, writing over 20 books. Her works, such as Through Gates of Splendor and Passion and Purity, inspired millions with their profound messages of trust in God, forgiveness, and living with purpose. Elisabeth also hosted a popular radio program called Gateway to Joy, where she shared deep truths from Scripture and encouraged listeners to rely on God, even in the midst of life's challenges. Elisabeth's life wasn't without its trials. She married twice more after Jim's death, first to theologian Addison Leach, who passed away from cancer, and later to Lars Gren, who supported her in her later years. Through it all, Elisabeth's unwavering trust in God's sovereignty shone brightly. Even in her final years, when she battled dementia, her faith remained strong, and she continued to be an inspiration to others. So, what can we take from Elisabeth Elliot's incredible life? It's a reminder that no matter the hardship, no matter the heartache, we can trust in God's plan for us. Elisabeth's life was a powerful example of forgiveness, obedience, and above all, faith in the face of unimaginable loss. Elisabeth Elliot's legacy continues to inspire us to trust in God's plan for our lives, no matter the obstacles. Thank you for joining me today. If this story has inspired you, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more videos that help you grow in faith and strength. And don't forget to leave a comment telling me how you've been inspired by Elisabeth Elliot's life. Until next time, remember, in all things trust in God's plan. Stay blessed, stay inspired, stay strong.
In the heart of the jungle, where the shadows fall, a woman stood tall, answering the call, with a heart full of courage and a love so true. She walked through the fire with a mission to do. She could have turned back, she could have run, but she chose to stay till the work was done. Through the pain and the sorrow, she held on tight to the promise of God in the darkest night. Faith in the fire, she stood her ground. In the face of loss, her hope was found. With forgiveness in her heart and a light in her eyes, she showed the world how love never dies. Faith in the fire, she trusted His plan. grace in the palm of his hand. His hand. She learned their language, she shared their pain, and through her kindness she broke every chain. The ones who heard her, she called them friend, and led them to Jesus where hearts could mend. She could have turned back, she could have run, but she chose to stay till the work was done. Through the pain and the sorrow, she held on tight to the promise of God in the darkest night. Faith in the fire, she stood her ground. In the face of loss, her hope was found. With forgiveness in her heart and the light in her eyes, she showed the world how love never dies. Faith in the fire, she trusted his plan, a story of grace in the palm of his hand. Through the pages she wrote, her voice still speaks of a life surrendered, of the strength of the weak. In every trial, in every tear, she found her purpose, and God was near. Faith in the fire, she stood her ground. In the face of loss, her hope was found. With forgiveness in her heart and a light in her eyes, she showed the world how love never dies. Faith in the fire, she trusted his plan, a story of grace in the palm of his hand. Answer the call, stand strong.